Next up, we have Microtask in from Finland, right?
Yep,
Great.
this is working. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Ville Miettinen. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Microtask. I'm in town for GDC, which is starting tomorrow. And I got about 17 years. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so for the last 17 years, been building companies in the realms of gaming technologies and graphics technologies. The previous one we sold here to Silicon Valley is nowadays known as NVIDIA Finland. And Microtask is our current venture. And Microtask is a real-time, high-performance crowdsourcing platform, which basically allows us to take extremely large and complex business problems and subdivide those into really short 1 to 2 second microtasks, source those from a variety of sources so we get humans to complete those tasks. They can be our own customers, employees, or they can be employees of, let's say, an Indian or a Chinese business process outsourcing company, or they can be volunteers somewhere over the internet. And we've been, so it's kind of like Mechanical Turk on steroids. And we've been focusing almost exclusively on tasks that are related to text recognition. So that's recognition of handwriting or processing of forms or business cards or invoices or receipts. And I basically want to show you one particular customer project we just did. I guess I'm breaking the no PowerPoint rule by having a single slide here, but the customer is the Finnish National Library, and they got in touch with us because they have a problem. And that problem is that, well, the problem, I kind of feel very Austin Powerish saying that the problem is that they have the entire Finnish cultural heritage, which they have scanned, or basically microfilmed back in the 60s and 70s, and in the 80s and 90s, they've been taking those microfilms and digitizing those into images, and then the last decade they've spent trying to OCR that, use optical character recognition for that text. And as you can see on the left, there is an example of a late 19th century newspaper in old Fraktur, very Gothic German, like a font, really hard to read even by modern humans. What we have in the center is what's the results of the OCR. Everything that's in red. I mean, I don't know how good your Finnish is, but I can guarantee you that everything that's in red is bad. It's broken. It's being OCR'd incorrectly. And basically what they want to get is what's on the right. So they want to get that text fixed, at least to get the primary terms like names of people and names of places so that they can do searches here. And these guys had 4 million pages now in one of the archives, and they wanted us to do something about it. And what we did was basically building on top of the Microtask platform, we created a site. It's called Digitalko, that's Finnish, digital barn raising, or I don't know how to translate that. And the idea was that because these guys don't have much money, they can't really hire people, so they want to rely on the goodwill of Finns who want to help in the process of doing this digitization. And we basically built a couple of flash games where the small tasks are really a part of the game. So people keep playing these games, and while they're doing that, well, the entire Finnish cultural heritage gets processed. And this basically, you connect through Facebook, you can invite your friends, you can see how you're faring, faring against your friends in the different games and so forth. And so the first of the games is one that's used for figuring out which words are wrong and which are correct. This is a super simple whack-a-mole kind of a game where you have to choose whether the OCR, the results of the OCR match the input data. It gets a bit tricky because there's extra characters like commas and periods and exclamation marks, and there's some old letters which are, well, it's really hard to read occasionally. And basically, the thing here is that since we don't have the correct answers, what we do there is that we have multiple players playing at the same time, and we cross-compare the results. So at the end of the level, we figure out which ones were right and which ones were wrong, the players get points based on, they get really heavily penalized if they get stuff wrong, and they get extra points if they do things quickly. We want to get people to process the data as quickly as possible. And I'll show the second game called Mole Bridge, and here is where we actually do the fixing. So people type words in, there's a bunch of moles walking from left to right, and we're building a bridge. And if we get the word incorrectly, the bridge falls and you go and you drown a mole, and that's never a good thing. And again, we do this by cross-comparing results in real time. Oh, no, we're killing moles there. And we also have some levels where, some other levels where the moles go to hell if you kill them. And this was launched a couple of weeks ago, and we've had now 20,000 separate people helping here, helping in the process. And hopefully in like 5 or 6 years' time, the entire Finnish cultural heritage has been digitized. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very creative. Questions?
I wonder if that could be applied to the Dead Sea Scrolls process, where they're trying to put everything together out of 20,000 fragments.
Certainly. Next question. Okay.
Do you do this as a charity for the Finnish culture, or do you make money?
We make some money out of this. We are not a charity organization. We are a venture capital-backed startup. We have to make money at some point.
So how do you charge?
Oh, a monthly license based on actually the amount of work being done. Yep.
You said that this gaming was built on your platform. Is that automated, or you have to manually somehow convert a business problem to a set of tasks?
It has to be done. It has to be done manually. So we've been creating. So you were asking whether it's a fully automatic. Whether we have a fully automatic way of converting a business process into Microtask. No, we don't. It requires manual engineering, but we are creating these APIs, which, so it's basically like basic building blocks out of which you're able to decompose a problem there.
How do you translate sentences one word at a time?
We're not translating anything. We're transcribing.
Based on context or something? How is it works in Finnish?
Yeah, I mean, well, this only requires, we're not doing any translation work. So this.
Still, I mean, doesn't the word in different contexts mean different things when people sort of digitize it or something?
No. No, don't worry about that. Back there.
How are you applying, are you applying game theory to all these problems? Is that a generalized concept that you're going to utilize?
Yeah, you were asking whether we're using gamification methods and game logic in everything. Yeah, we're trying to do that as much as possible because we think that some of the tasks people have to, if you have to do like 2,000 tasks an hour, it can be mind-numbingly boring. So anything we can do to help there is good. Yeah, I mean, our current customer base, like apart from national libraries, well, we have media houses that have big private archives, but also another major sector is medical insurance companies who have paper forms, so millions of forms and with a lot of handwritten writing, especially doctors' writing. It's horrible, and no OCR algorithm ever is going to be able to read a doctor's handwriting. Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of demos and kind of like piloting in other areas. For example, one important area is content moderation. So it's a classic porn or not question that is really important to solve. But there's other companies who are really focusing on those areas. And we have a lot of computer graphics and computer vision background. So this is the best field for us right now.
One last question.
Do you use statistics to figure out what the best answers are?
Yeah. Yes. We use statistics.
Okay, great. Thank you.